Now on 10 Tampa Bay, recovering from Hurricane Milton. Live team coverage starts now.
Hurricane Milton leaving behind a massive path of destruction across the state of Florida. The storm made landfall on Wednesday night near Siesta Key as a powerful Category 3.
Yeah, families now returning home, finding damage left behind. You're watching a special edition of 10 Tampa Bay. I'm Frank Wiley.
And I'm Courtney Robinson. We do have live team coverage of Milton's impact tonight, from damage to our coastline to river flood warnings in effect in multiple counties, and gas stations, of course, limited on fuel or without. But first, as recovery efforts are happening right now, we are staying on top of 3 things you need to know. Hurricane Milton is now blamed for at least 16 deaths, 6 of them in the Tampa Bay area, 2 in St. Petersburg, 2 in Tampa, 1 in Polk County, and 1 in Citrus County.
Right now, Florida drivers, of course, having a tough time finding gas. As of this morning, almost 75% of gas stations in the Tampa-St. Pete area without fuel. That is according to Gas Buddy. According to the service in Sarasota, it reports more than 50% of stations are out. And right now, our free 10 Tampa Bay app has all the resources you need, so you can find the closest place to get the gas you need.
And this afternoon, there are flood warnings across the Bay Area as rivers and lakes rise following impacts from Hurricane Milton. Pasco, Hernando, and Hillsborough counties warn that you could get flooding from nearby rivers and lakes. Pasco has voluntary evacuations in place right now.
Right now, officials encouraging folks to leave and to get to higher ground. 10 Tampa Bay's Hannah Deneen joining us live in Pasco County. And Hannah, those communities definitely concerned about impacts from river flooding.
Certainly, Frank, and the warning from Pasco officials is stern. This water is still rising quickly, and they're asking you to get out now if you live or work in an area that sees flooding from rivers or lakes across Pasco County. So we're in Elfers tonight, and I want to show you this. We're near the intersection of 54 and 7 Springs Boulevard. This is a shopping plaza some people might be familiar with. There's a Papa John's here. Also, that's the parking lot of Crunch Fitness that looks like a lake straight ahead of us. This is also an area that has a lot of neighborhoods nearby. We're hearing that many of those neighborhoods are seeing significant flooding right now. Pasco County, they've been doing non-stop high water rescues since yesterday morning because of flooding just like this from the lakes and rivers. Now, this is historic flooding in the county with we are roughly 0.3 miles from the Anclote River that's in this direction that we're showing you here. And it is well above a major flood stage right now at more than 26 feet, according to NOAA. That's the Anclote River. Now, Pasco officials tonight, they are urging you to stay off the roads. If you do need to be out driving, they're warning you that many of these streets are closed down because of the flooding tonight, and you will have to navigate around those safely. If you do see those flooded roadways, again, the message from them, as always, do not drive along those flooded roadways. In Elvers, Hannah Deneen, 10 Tampa Bay.
Hannah, thank you. And you know, we have seen dozens of rescues in the aftermath of Hurricane Milton, and the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office was out yet again this morning. This time, they were helping people get out of floodwaters from the rising Alafaya River.
10 Tampa Bay's Angelina Salcido is in Hillsborough County live for us right now. And Angie, there are more people who are at risk this afternoon.
And they really weren't expecting for the water to get this high, right? Right now we're on Lithia, Pinecrest Road, and Lynx Paw Terrace, and we're with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office as they continue to try and rescue people who may be stuck in these high waters. Just to give you guys some perspective, the Alafaya River is about a mile that way. Okay, so this water has come to levels that we really weren't expecting. Take a look at this. You're going to see some homes in the distance, also some boats as well. All of these neighborhoods have been consumed with water, and that's why the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office is out here doing these rescues, bringing in their boats, and they're also being supplemented by other resources from the National Guard and from the Army as well. Now, Hillsborough County Sheriff Chad Cronister joins me now. I know that it has been a heck of a few days for you guys. Talk to me about what this effort has looked like for you all.
Yeah, it's been an all hands on deck. Some sheriffs around the state have sent us resources. A great thing that sheriffs take care of sheriffs in that time of need. Governor's been great. What do you need? And this is all hands on deck. When you talk about these types of storms, there's always adverse effects. It could be wind damage, which we still have a lot of people without power. Storm surge, we didn't get that. We were fortunate. That's deadly. You know, that's where you lose people's lives. But we have flooding. and it's equally as damaging. And the dilemma is storm surge will come in and go. Flooding, when we got 16 inches of rain from around this huge county, now Mother Nature does a good job in getting rid of it, but it has to get to the point where it's gone to the rivers and out into the bay, and unfortunately this is a result of it.
I know that you guys rescued a 91-year-old woman this morning who was stuck in her home. That's just one of the stories of many. What are you hearing from people that are having to be rescued? I know that they're used to stuff like this, but they really weren't expecting something like this to happen so quickly.
Yeah, these are people they've flooded before, maybe a couple feet, 2-3 feet, not 4, 5, 6 feet, and more importantly, not so quickly. You know, we were listening to somebody that was telling us how they had to evacuate. They went to bed last night at 1 o'clock in the morning. He said he had no water. He's standing in his front yard. He has 6 feet of water in his yard now. He woke up didn't know it was going to be that fast, so people had to leave really quickly, and that's when we were here, 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, started the rescues and kept sending more and more resources to help people get to safety and get to dry land.
Can you give me a range of how many rescues you guys have done so far and what you're thinking it's going to look like as the day continues?
Yeah, they've told me it's over 200 rescues that we've done.
More than 200 rescues that they have completed. We know Sheriff Chad Chronister has been busy, as have all the officials across the Bay Area.
We had some technical difficulties with Angelina Schott, and we'll work to get her back in a little bit. Several counties are reopening these sandbag locations amid this river flooding. The counties are opening sites in Pasco County, Hernando County, and Citrus County. So depending on where you go, you may have to take your own shovel. You can find exact locations as well as when these sites are open. We have those posted for you right now. They're on the free 10 Tampa Bay app. And as you are trying to get home to assess damage left behind from Hurricane Milton, it is going to be a long road to recovery.
Yes, it will. And as we roll ahead, this is what we're talking about, because a gas shortage right here in the Bay Area, definitely making it tough for people to get around. And our own Miguel Octavio joining us in front of a gas station. I imagine you had to fight traffic to get in there because people are struggling to even top off.
And Frank, not just struggling, but people are feeling impatient. They are frustrated. Remember, they're also dealing with flooding within their own homes, and much of the county here is still without power. This is perhaps maybe the second gas station we've seen here in Lakeland where they actually have gas, and people who rode out that line say it's about a 45-minute to an hour wait. I can't even show you how long this line extends. It's just going bumper to bumper on the right shoulder of US 98 over here. Now, some stations simply just do not have fuel. Any sight of a fuel tanker is drawing a lot of people to those gas stations, only to find out there's actually not fuel in there. The people here in line tell me they're dealing with flooding in their homes. They need those supplies, and they need to get gas as well. We spoke with some desperate to get some of that gas, and they tell me they are frustrated. Take a listen.
I just think it's that the government's not having everything taken care of.
You think they should have been better prepared here?
I honestly think everybody should have been better prepared.
We on EE, we running on faith, baby. We on EE, but hey, God got us, so you know, we holding up.
Clearly, some people there are making the most of the situation, but as you can see, people here are frustrated. The state does say they have hundreds of thousands of gallons of fuel as emergency fuel. People here want to see it very quickly. Even the Pasco County Sheriff's Office is asking people to be patient. They say they've gotten numerous calls for service because of the number of run-ins with people at those gas stations, because the tension is so high. But as you can still see here, a lot of desperate need for the gas. A lot of people still rebuilding. This is the last thing they want to deal with, and they hope more stations can open up and have some of that fuel readily available. Frank and Courtney.
You got a smile right there, Miguel. That lady clinging to faith, as she says, that's what's carrying her through that line, a long line at that. You know, we have continuing team coverage from Pinellas County beaches.
It was a 1-2 punch for our coastline. First hit hard by Helene, and now Milton. Plus, Florida emergency managers have a strong message for you this Friday as many see the damage and take action. You're watching 10 Tampa Bay.